I can't hear your mic, Burk. Is it on? Sorry.
My mic?
Oh, there it is.
on?
Yeah.
Okay.
It sounded very faint.
I was talking really quietly to try to create a new character.
Quiet Burk. Quiet.
Yeah, quiet.
Quiet. Artsy Burk. Art house.
I don't know if that's going to work or not, but I could I'll introduce new characters every so often and see if they take,
That's a really good idea.
Yeah.
Well, I'm excited to talk about this new film that's coming out from A24, who they always bring interesting stuff.
Yes.
And it's coming out April 12th. It's the latest film from Alex Garland.
See, when you told me Alex Garland, I went, I'm here. I'm on.
I didn't realize he wrote 28 Days Later, and he wrote the remake of Dread, which I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And he also did Men and Annihilation and Ex Machina and Devs. I mean, the guy.
I love Devs.
Really
He's a super smart filmmaker. I love
He's a novelist. And so this is his new film called Civil War.
That's
and it stars Kirsten Dunst and Jesse Plemons, because they have to act together. That's the rules.
Right.
That's
Nick Offerman and other folks. And it's set in the near future about a U.S. Civil War. That's all I know about
U.S. Civil War? Oh, that's probably getting a little too close to home, I think.
Yeah. A lot of people might,
But A24 always brings some interesting stuff.
Yes, they do.
And especially these bigger budget ones are interesting. So let's check out the trailer for Civil War.
Didn't you say Nick Offerman is also in this?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, love him so much. Okay, let's do it. All right,
here we go. And
19 states have seceded.
The United States Army ramps up activity.
The White House issued warnings to the Western forces as well as the Florida Alliance.
The three-term president assures the uprising will be dealt with swiftly.
Let me know if you want to try anything on.
I guess aware there's like a pretty huge civil war going on all across America.
We just try to stay out. With what we see on the news, seems like it's for the best.
Wow. So many people.
Wow. Citizens of America, the so-called Western forces of Texas and California have suffered a very great defeat at the hands of the United States military.
Mr. President, do you regret the use of airstrikes against American citizens?
We're moving to D.C. today.
We need to go down there.
They shoot journalists on sight in the Capitol.
Every instinct in me says this is death.
Bloody.
Every time I survived a war zone, I thought I was sending a warning home. Don't do this. But here we are.
There's some kind of misunderstanding here. What? Well, you're American, okay? Okay. What kind of American are you?
Yeesh.
You don't know?
You don't know. What's the right answer? That was great.
The Western forces will reach the White House on July 4th.
Oh my God.
Get in the car! Get in the car! Move, move, move!
You're gonna hang back.
I'm not hanging back.
One nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Go, 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 go!
Oh my God.
God bless America.
Wow.
Okay, that just
looks a bit heavy. Looks a bit too much heavy, kind of
too close to home. I mean, I don't think we're that far off from this.
That's the scary part of it. It's like that could happen, and it would be like, yeah, sure, that can happen.
Yeah.
Well, there's people that want that. I have a I have a feeling that there's not enough of them to do something like this, because I think the Civil War was what we saw on the day they attacked the Capitol building, and those were the warriors. You know what I mean? I don't think they have enough numbers or gumption or intelligence.
Right. in this movie, it's like Texas and California are the two states that are sort of, because they're obviously very big states and have a lot of people, and maybe they can, sort of have enough to muster some sort of take over the whatever the military bases. Maybe that's what it is or something.
Yeah, I see it like more like states versus like militia groups, like more like, because right now we have states that are kind of like in a way saying we're going to control the borders, not the federal government. We're going to like, it seems like they're really testing the boundaries right now. So I think this is like the natural like evolution to like, if this really happened, like if states decided to take on the federal government or states started to take on each other, like who would really stop them? Like what would happen? Like that is terrifying.
Yeah,
you're starting to see the
hypothetical, but it's a scary one for sure.
Well, they mentioned the Florida Alliance, so you can see like okay, like that's a state that could sort of do that, or others. So anyway, it looks really well, produced and well made, and great actors. I like that actor, Stephen McKinley Henderson, who plays he's the guy saying, "Get in the car, get in the car."
Yeah, he's great.
He was in Beau is Afraid, and he always plays really interesting movies, and always is sort of like an interesting character. So, and of course, Kirsten Dunst and Nick Offerman as the president is pretty cool.
I love that. That was great.
Jesse Plemons looks like he plays a bad, kind of a really scary guy, almost like the Ted character from way back when. Or was it Todd character from Breaking Bad?
That's right.
That's right. Yeah,
he was in Friday Night Lights as a total dork. I love him. He's been great. The only sports thing I've ever really watched. I actually really liked it. And he helped out a lot. I love that confrontation. He's got those crazy red glasses on where he says, what kind of Americans? Right. That is where we're at. Like, it's sort of like, we're all Americans, but we're not all equal, are we? Like, it's a sort of creepy, like we're Americans are being pitted against each other. And I like the idea that if they ask you that, what is your answer? Like, it's scary to survive. What do you tell that guy? Like,
in some ways, there already is a civil war going on.
There is a civil war for sure.
It's like if you were going to fight a war in the year 2024, I mean, if you're going to fight a war in the 40s or the 20s or the 30s or whatever, you're going to use bombs and airplanes and guns and guys running across battlefields shooting each other as you try to get more and more territory. But if you're going to fight a war in 2024, you get social media to plant seeds, and you turn your enemy against each other. You divide your enemy into two different teams, and you pit them against each other. And while they're fighting each other, then you win. It's like, and that's what you see a lot of that. You see people talking about, saying, "Oh, there wasn't anything to the Russia involvement or the Russian, interference in elections and stuff." Yes, there was. Obviously,
there's proof there was.
There's proof, obviously, and it's obviously a hostile foreign power fighting against us in a very cost-effective and very effective way. You got people who are raised on TV evangelists and infomercials, and they're like, "I'll believe anything I see on that TV screen." And
they're radicalizing Americans against each other. I mean, basically, we become enemies.
Country. Yeah.
I mean, we're all Americans, but now we're against each other. It's literally civil war. It's like we're all
and
divided.
You create your army inside the country of your enemy, and they become your army, and then they're fighting your war for you, and you sit back, and you get sit back and watch it happen, and meanwhile you've got traitors like what's his name? Who went over and interviewed Putin and he idolizes him, it's like the same thing happened in World War II. There were people that idolized, Americans that idolized Hitler and thought that
memories are very short. They don't even see how they're repeating this terrible history, and that we need to be all working together. It's just sad. It's sad that it's gotten to this.
Recently, on the Grammy Awards, there was a big Tracy Chapman comes about and sings a Fast Car, and there's a country singer, Luke Combs, that's doing the duet. And it, turned into this big thing, like, hey, this is a little 5 minutes where we can sort of come together. And it's sad that we have to look to that as some sort of validation that, hey, we can actually be friends and work across, music genres or, political spectrum. So isn't it weird that somehow that was turned into something bigger than it really should be? It was just
really gone back in time. It's creepy.
It's very strange.
It's creepy. So we have a poster. Boom. A very conceptual teaser poster. So here's
sandbags around the court of liberty,
guns. They're basically, America at war with itself. here's the image for it.
I'm really curious to know how the attitude of the film and what is the general consensus of the meaning of the film. In other words, what is the takeaway, of the movie? Is it going to, hopefully they don't cop out and say, oh, both sides are just as bad or any of that kind of thing.
I don't think so. This guy, Alex Garland, he's, first of all, he's English, so he's coming at it from outside the country. So I think he's going to have a certain sort of perspective, but I also think he's super smart. And like his movie Men was really interesting in the way he talked, the relationship, how that worked. I think it's going to be an elevated, attitude, and whatever that means. I don't expect it to be something very generic and sort of tropey. I expect it to be something interesting.
Yeah, he definitely has a very layered kind of filmmaker. Like he's not that simple. Storyline. Like I think it's pretty intense that he would try and do a movie about this because everything's so on fire in this country right now with that stuff. But I do think it's interesting that we could have like sort of a symbolic, future telling of what this could turn into in a sort of apocalyptic way, which I think is, necessary because art needs to reflect life. And I think it makes it kind of a narrative that we want to try to avoid, but maybe by seeing how it could go, we could maybe try not to go there.
I think the scariest thing in the movie, I mean, of course, planes flying overhead and bombs and stuff is terrifying, but just the scene where the guy is in that store going, there's kind of a big civil war going on, and he's there, they're shopping.
Yeah, and they're like, we just try not to watch the news.
That's eerie because you sort of maybe experience that in some way, like maybe an earthquake happened and you're starting to live there's something happens, something's a little bit off, or when other things have happened, whether it's 9/11, you're like trying to go through your day, but something horrible just happened, and it's just very strange.
I think too, there's so many people that like, I'm not going to watch the news, and they're clued out and they're not watching what's happening. And then only 10% of the country is voting for the president. So we have 10% of the country is the only one showing up or caring what's happening in the country. Everyone's like, oh, I'm not going to watch that stuff. It's like, well, see, this is why we need to watch this stuff, because you walking into that shop and saying, I don't watch the news doesn't change the reality of what's happening. You don't get to just pretend like it's not happening. And unfortunately, that's where we're at.
And my fear about things like this is that a lot of people watching it, are they going to get the message from it, or are they going to go, yeah, that's a great movie,
cool, we should do this,
they got to kill those people, and they're on the side of the bad guy? You know what I mean? Like some people watch the movie Dirty Harry or something and they're like, yeah, he's badass, I love how he just kills people and doesn't care and kills the bad guys without giving them a trial and stuff, and you're like, Dirty Harry is a nuanced film that is ambiguously, morally ambiguous.
It's not pro bad guy.
Or they'll listen to, Springsteen's Born in the USA, and they don't listen to the lyrics. They just go, Born in the USA, It's like, that's not what he's saying in the song.
It's in the name of our country, United States.
Yes.
That's the whole point. But no, we want to divide it. So there you go.
But anyway,
what are you going to do?
This
movie's making me very mad.
Well, it's a movie that triggers discussion. It's obviously,
triggering.
Even the trailer, it's gonna make people talk, and I think it's going to be controversial. It's going to be interesting to see how people react to it and how people interpret it and how people review it.
Especially in the theater and IMAX, if people go and you have like these, maybe it'd be interesting the reaction. I find that fascinating. I might be too nervous to go see it in the theater though.
Oh no, I'm a little scared.
Remember when there were movies like that were divisive in a way that they were banning showing it? Like even film. I remember The Warriors. Remember that movie, The Warriors?
Was that controversial?
It was controversial because people were getting into fights when they went to see the movie, and there were movies where, I don't know, maybe there were, baseball furies versus the or something. But,
You mean nobody watched the movie and go, this is the dumbest shit I've ever seen? I'm not going to do this.
With his jeans overalls.
You and me.
I'm going to beat you up. That's so funny. It's really cool to beat up people wearing different clothes.
But you know what I mean? It could be one of those movies where some people who go see it are rooting for one side, and some people watching the movie are rooting for the other side, and they're saying this is what, like the woman in the scene that you were talking about, she says maybe it's for the good, it's for the better. There's some people who think that, if we just they're not, and something about real Americans, that whole idea of putting conning people into taking sides against their own country. Literally,
also, good luck trying to survive without California's economy. Basically keeping the whole country alive. So
Exactly.
Without,
all right.
In general,
Well,
without smart
this could
people.
get ugly.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's going to be the last thing I'll say about this, and we can say goodbye. Is like it's interesting that he had the reporters as the main character.
Yeah, I love that because they're supposed to be kind of semi-neutral and they're just documenting.
Right? Yeah, but they're hated by many factions.
Oh, they are because they don't want people to see the truth. They don't want people to see it. So,
well, it should be an interesting movie that we'll talk
certainly
about.
Got us talking.
Yeah, sure did. Okay,
all right, everybody.
Let us know your thoughts because I know this is going to be a hot topic. So let us know in the comments what you think this movie's trying to say and what you think about it.
Yeah. Okay, everybody. Take care. See ya.